Hello and welcome to UC Today. My name's David Dungay. Today I'm joined by Chris Blagg, COO and co-founder of Fuse2. Welcome to the show, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, David. Thank you for asking. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm great, thank you. I'm really excited for today's conversation. We're going to be talking about hybrid offerings and how to differentiate those offerings as a partner. So before we get into that conversation though, Chris, do you want to give us a bit of an introduction to yourself and Fuse2?
Absolutely, thank you, David. My name is Chris Blagg. As you're aware, I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Fuse2 Communications and co-founder. The business has been going just over 7 years now. Feels a hell of a lot longer. But we specialise in the best-in-class of VoIP network infrastructure, predominantly in the UK when we just started the business. But now we've expanded globally as well in terms of our reach to facilitate multinational customers, whatever size they are, from small to medium, right the way up to enterprise. And with our truly diverse HA core network that we have in the UK, we've expanded and replicated that across various different data centres across the globe, which then outlines a really strong and resilient infrastructure which we can overlay very clever pieces of technology to enable businesses to utilise the best-in-class cloud communication platforms. We're a Titanium 3CX partner, UK preferred Citrun provider. We're also Anywhere 365 Premier partner, and we still believe to this day that we was the first operator within the UK to successfully enable Microsoft Direct Routing solution to work with Teams, and there's a video on YouTube to verify that as well. So that was about 6 months prior to the first lockdown that hit us in the UK.
Wow, what an accolade. Chris, I want to get straight into our first question here around cloud migrations. Clearly over the last 3 years or so, we've seen that sort of pandemic-fueled migration journey by a lot of businesses. But as we stand today, we're in the middle of 2023. What are those big challenges faced by businesses that are going through that cloud sort of migration journey today?
From what I've picked up over particularly during my experience over the pandemic, is everybody was pushed into a migration phase, whether it was planned or unplanned. Majority of the time it was unplanned. Everybody was sent from home, as you know, and they needed to enable to work from home, contact their customers and communicate internally as well. So what I've learned from customers' experiences during that time was trust in a comms provider to be able to facilitate this. So when I say that, it might mean very generic term, but we assured partners and customers that we was the right comms provider to enable this migration phase to being able to work from home. So we designed a very, very slick and well thought out process of project management, qualification questions, qualification meetings. And it's not just about the project and the requirement that they have now, which obviously is very important because they need to move away from traditional comms, but what type of communication enhancements are going to need 3, 4, 5 years time down the line. So, there's a lot of comms companies out there that do it very well, but how many of these comm providers are forward thinking? Do they have omni-channel facilities? Do they do CRM integration? Because we can migrate very easily from an on-prem NEC or whatever it is, ISDN 2 or 30 to a cloud system. But where's the limit from there? Do they have to then migrate away from a cloud provider to another one because they were lacking in a certain feature set? So I think what I'm trying to say there is trying to understand the complete customer journey from, yes, you've got an immediate requirement, but when that immediate requirement's done, what does the next 3 years look like? And making sure we've got the right technology in place to facilitate those different milestones in the customer's needs.
Yeah, it's that transformation. It's not a destination, is it? It's a journey, and a continuous journey at that. So tell me about the pace of change. When the pandemic hit in 2020, I was hearing of deployments going, the sales cycle and the deployment cycle going from sort of 5 months to days in some instances, because people just needed that technology there and then. What are you seeing in terms of the pace people are willing to move today? Are we still seeing those kind of really speedy deployments?
Yeah, rapid. Luckily for us, just before the pandemic hit, we uploaded a video onto YouTube of our engineers successfully configuring a Microsoft Teams tenant to communicate with the PSTN, with the outside world. So not just internally, we was the first in the UK to facilitate direct routing. So with this video being on YouTube and then the pandemic hit, this video, through different Google search terms, got very, very successful, and a lot of views was hit on this particular video. So a lot of inquiries came through. So the demand for this particular service was instant. Listen, guys, we're working from home. We need to be able to communicate. We need it now. So we can set up a direct routing solution with our expertise in our support centre here in North Manchester within a matter of 24 hours. Because a lot of the delay comes with the Microsoft side being able to propagate and install the particular gateways and such. But for us, moving on to the 3CX side of things, we can spin a 3CX up with a live SIP trunk within 5 minutes. The biggest delay, I would say, is understanding the numbering side of things from the customer's system. So how many ranges have they got? How many single numbers do they need? Building the system, mapping out the call flows, presenting the call flows to the customer, make sure they're happy with everything, and then replicating that document into the system build. If a business has got a mainline number, 3-4 different hunt groups, we can do that in a matter of days when the port's successful. But if it's a bit more complex, it can take a matter of like 2 to 3 weeks. Which I guess, quoting these particular timescales to a business, it might seem a bit nervy. If they're used to just using the piece of tin in the comms room using ISDN 30, they might be thinking, well, can you really do that? But we've got a big wealth of experience backed up by case studies, lots of different reference points from 1 to 5 users, right the way up to 50 users, and then right the way up to 1,000 users, and then 2,000 plus on call center solutions. So we've got a whole array of expertise, and not just with customer deployments, but as a skill set within Fuse 2 as well. It's a mix, but we do have that range of expertise in whatever the customer's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, you did a good job of outlining some of your USBs. I want to dig into some of that a little bit more, though, Chris. You mentioned your sort of speed of deployment with the various vendors you work with. Maybe you could talk about some of the other kind of differentiators Fuse 2 is really bringing to market with this cloud migration story.
Okay. Well, my business partner Wayne, he's come from an extremely high-level technical background. He's always worked in communication, so this particular skill set he's got technically, he's passed down to our support engineers. So he's come from an era of installing NEC systems and cabling and going back right the way through to traditional comms in the 1990s. So these pieces of communication platforms and systems are still in place to this day. So with this experience that is passed on, we're enabled to create hybrid migration plans. So for example, we've just deployed a huge cloud migration project in the Netherlands where there was 800 users, massive pharmaceutical site over 5 kilometers in radius, but they had phones everywhere. There was in hallways, there was in lifts. So we did a hybrid solution whereby we integrated all of this legacy communication technology into various different gateways, and then from the gateway thereon integrated into 3CX as well as Teams. So these 3CX Teams working together as well as 300-400 analog traditional comms communicating to that system via a gateway. So it's that type of experience that we bring. It's over 35-40 years combined experience in communications, way before SIP was even a thing, and that's what we bring to the table, I guess.
I want to talk about channel subject, quite close to my heart, and where that opportunity is right now. We've seen a lot of migration to the cloud already for obvious reasons, as we've spoken about. Is there still opportunity around, these migration journeys for channel to really, generate extra revenue and business?
There's a lot of opportunity for channel partners in this particular area. I would say 85 to 90% of our business that we bring in and current revenue is via the channel. Majority is with IT companies, with a small proportion of telecommunication companies. But with these IT support companies, they're the ones with the experience anyway, moving from on-prem systems to cloud, 365 migrations. So they kind of bring a natural skill set to the table as well. So when they move from on-prem systems to cloud, they should be able to adopt our way of working quite simply. If not, we're always here on hand. We're a very channel-focused and partner-driven entity. We've got lots of partner portals and automation systems in the background to assist with this, as well as call forking as well. We've just completely designed an out-of-the-box call forking solution. And what that means is partners have the facility to configure legacy SIP trunks via Fuse 2 to a platform that we've designed, and then integrate different cloud communication systems to that system as well. So it's like a two-legged SIP call. It will come down and then it will go to a traditional SIP trunk, go into a system, and it will also go to a cloud system of their choice as well under Fuse 2. So these are the type of tools and services we've developed to assist our channel partners in this space.
And of course, a lot of that migration we've seen over the last few years has been towards services, or particularly services like Microsoft Teams. There's been a big influx of people migrating towards the Teams. How are Fuse 2? How are you helping your partners keep those customers sticky? When they go to services like Microsoft Teams, there's always been an underlying sort of thought in channel. Am I just handing my customer over here to Microsoft? Is it a matter of time? But how are you helping those partners keep those customers sort of sticky?
Yeah, I guess it's taking advantage of a lack of feature set within Teams, because, as I've mentioned before, I'd like to say we was one of the market leaders within direct routing solutions globally as well as the UK. But it's addressing the missing functionality within Teams and then acting upon it. As we all know, Teams is fantastic, but in terms of a PBX replacement tool, it's not quite there. So we can overlay missing functionality with call reporting solutions, skill set routing. We can overlay it with Anywhere 365, which is a very, very enterprise grade call center solution which sits within the customer's SharePoint. And also PCI MIFT2 call recording solutions. So all these different features that are missing within Teams we can address by our product set. And then that comes with additional contract lengths and commitments that the customers have to adhere to. And then because they're putting more services within that partner's remit, they become more sticky, because one doesn't work without the other.
Great. So, Chris, we're approaching the end of today's discussion, but I do want to leave our audience, particularly those channel partners watching, with some top tips for how they can really get the most out of their hybrid working portfolio. What are your thoughts there?
Well, firstly, I think it's key for partners to find the right operator within the market. Fuse 2, we're a completely independent carrier-grade business, enabling partners to facilitate customers' needs, not just in the UK, but across the globe as well. So we have the network, which is truly HA, high availability, very diverse, multiple global interconnects, and it's managed here in our office in North Manchester. So we have a team of expertise behind the scenes, engineers, project managers. We're very much geared around the channel. We have partner portals, which is fully automated into our network. We also have billing services as well, because that can be quite complex. So we can take that headache away to make sure partners are making margin, and they can just take their eye away from billing and then into the product. So that's the first guide I would give. Secondly, it's the product set. Does the product set meet your existing customers' needs? What's your customer's vision for communications in the future? Are they looking at WhatsApp integration? Are they looking at CRM integration? And these type of different topics, which are being discussed quite frequently, you just want to make sure that your comms provider has all these boxes ticked, and they're not just good at one thing. Yes, they might be good at comms, but what are the other different product sets that they have along the way as well? Not just for the SME, but right the way up to enterprise level as well.
Great. I do have a slight follow-up question on that, Chris. I came across a SME customer the other day, and they were looking at changing their phone system. And the provider that had quoted them, they didn't really have any insight as to the depth behind that, who that provider was purchasing from, and the product development or the product cycles coming down the line. What is going to someone like Fuse 2? What does that kind of guarantee? As you own your own infrastructure and build your own stuff. What does that guarantee from a product development point of view? In the future.
Well, that kind of guarantees our audience of a well-established, highly recognised brand within the comms communication space. We're a 3CX Titanium partner. That's the highest regard of status that you can get with 3CX. Every single engineer we have behind the scenes is accredited, highly skilled. Most of them are very far along on Microsoft certifications and accreditations. Highly skilled team, not just within the SIP world as well, but in the particular product set. We're also a member of the Comms Council UK. So as an operator, we have to adhere to the ever-changing regulations within the UK, which we always meet year on, year out. We're also award winners for best infrastructure for the Comms Council, and they work closely with Ofcom. We're also a member of the Cloud Comms Alliance within the US as well, because we have quite strong presence within the US market. So these different stamps of approval from different vendors and different authorities should give our audience some reassurance that they're dealing with the correct people.
Fantastic. Chris, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your insights.
Pleasure. Thank you, David.
And thank you for watching. You've been watching me, David Dungay, on UC Today. If you liked today's conversation, please give us a like and a share on social media. That's it from me. See you next time.